Good morning, children. Today I am present again with the same lesson. Should wizard hit mommy? In the last class we have seen that Roger's mommy was not happy with Roger's new smell. Angrily with Roger, she went to the wizard and with her umbrella she hit over the head of the wizard and asked him to give Roger back his own smell. And the wizard did accordingly. After that, Roger and his mother came back to their house and listened to the whistle of the train. Now, let's see. Ooh, and it was the choo-choo train bringing Daddy Skunk home from Boston. And they had lima beans, celery, liver, mashed potatoes, and pie oh my for dessert. And then they together had their dinner. And in their dinner, they had several kinds of dishes, such as lima beans, celery, liver, mashed potatoes, and dessert. Children, lima beans are a kind of beans which are grown in Southern America. And celery is a kind of vegetable with long pale green stems. And dessert, a kind of sweet dish. Children, here there is one word, pie oh my. Actually, this is an exclamatory word, interjection. This word is used to express pleasure, surprise, such as oh my, oh my. There was dessert also in the dinner. And when Roger Skunk was in bed, Mommy Skunk came up and hugged him and said he smelled like her little baby skunk again, and she loved him very much. And that's the end of the story. And after dinner, the baby skunk went to bed. And after some time, his mom also went to him. His mom hugged him, loved him, and told that now my little baby smells in his own way. And then Jack told that this way the story came to an end. But Daddy, what? Then did the other little animals run away? No, because eventually they got used to the way he was and did not mind it at all, although the story came to an end. But Joe was not happy. Joe was worried to think about her hero, Skunk. She told Daddy, but if Skunk would go to play, then again his friends would run away. Then Father told no. Now slowly and gradually, eventually, all the creatures would get accustomed to his smell, would get used to his smell. They would not run away. What's even Siladi in a little while? When eventually word was used by Jack, Joe didn't follow it. Joe didn't understand it. And she asked her daddy, Daddy, what is this Eben Siladi? She pronounced it wrongly because she had never heard this word. So she asked Dad, what is this Eben Siladi? Then her father explained that in a little while, shortly, very soon. That was a stupid mommy. It was not, he said with rare emphasis, and believed from her expression that she realized he was defending his own mother to her or something as odd. But still, Joe was not satisfied. Joe told Daddy, Roger's mummy was stupid mummy, foolish mummy. Then Jack, with emphasis, with stress, with all his force, told no. His mummy was not stupid. And when Jack told this, then to see the expression on his daughter's face, on Joe's face, Jack understood that his daughter was realizing that by saying this, Jack was trying to defend his own mother. Jack realized after seeing the expression on his daughter's face that she was realizing the fact that by saying so, he was trying to defend his own mother, because Jack also during his childhood was humiliated, insulted, and then his mother used to console, used to tell that slowly you would get accustomed. Now I want you to put your big heavy head in the pillow and have a good long nap. He adjusted the shade, so not even a crack of day showed, and tiptoed to the door in the pretense that she was already asleep. Then Jack told Joe, please put your big heavy head on the pillow and like a good baby try to sleep. And then Jack drew the shirts means here curtains, drew the curtains in such a way so that daylight couldn't come inside, and then he went to the door on his toe silently without making noise, thinking that now Joe was going to sleep. But when he turned, she was crouching on top of the covers and staring at him. Hey, get under the covers and fall fast asleep. Baby is asleep. But once Jack turned, then he saw that Joe was not asleep. Rather, she was bent over her covers and she was staring at her daddy. She was looking keenly at Jack. Then Jack told, hey, please, sleep. And Bobby is also sleeping. He might be disturbed. She stood up and bounced gingerly on the springs. Daddy, what? Tomorrow, I want you to tell me the story that wizard took that magic wand and hit that mummy. Her plump arms chopped forcefully right over the head. But Joe didn't sleep. She jumped over bed and she told, Daddy, tomorrow you will have to tell a story in which the wizard would hit over the head of mummy and he would chop the plump arms of mummy, the fleshy arms of mummy. No, that's not the story. The point is that the little skunk loved his mummy more than he loved all the other little animals. And she knew what was right. But Jack told, her daddy told, no, That is not the story. That is not the point. Actually, the story conveys the message that for a child, his mother is everything. A child can sacrifice everything for his mother. Even a child can sacrifice his friends for his mother. And mother, after all, also only thinks of the goodness of her child, of the welfare of her child. So, whatever Roger's mother did, she did for the sake of Roger. So, she was not wrong. No, tomorrow you say he hit that mummy. Do it. She kicked her legs up and sat down on the bed with a great heave and complaint of springs, as she had done hundreds of times before, except that this time she did not laugh. Say it, Daddy. Well, we'll see. Now at least have a rest. Stay on the bed. You are a good girl. But Jo was rigid. She was not ready to agree with her daddy. She told, no, Daddy. Tomorrow you will have to tell a story, and in that story the wizard will hit mommy. And saying this, she kicked her legs. She sat on the bed heavily, although earlier also, hundreds of times, she had done it. But there was difference between that time and this time. Earlier, she did it out of excitement, out of happiness. But today, she was worried. And Daddy had at last to yield, at last to submit. He told, okay, he will see. But now at least she should go to bed. She should sleep and behave like a good girl. He closed the door and went downstairs. Claire had spread the newspapers and opened the paint can, and wearing an old shirt of his on top of her maternity smock, was stroking the chair rail with a dipped brush. Then Jack closed the door and he went downstairs. He went on the ground floor, where Claire, his wife, had spread the newspaper, opened the tin of paint, and was painting the chair rail. And she was wearing Jack's old shirt on her smock. What is a smock? A long, loose outer garment. So, on her long, loose outer garment, she had put on Jack's old shirt. Why? Because she was painting. Above him, footsteps vibrated and he called, Joanne, shall I come up there and spank you? The footsteps hesitated. Just that very time, Jack heard above him, means on the upper floor, the sound of footsteps. Actually, this sound was made by Jo. It means she was not asleep. Then Jack shouted, Jo, are you going to sleep? Or I should come up and slap you? Then the sound disappeared. It means she went to bed. That was a long story, Claire said. The poor kid, he answered. Then Claire asked Jack, the story was long perhaps. Jack didn't tell anything, only he told the poor kid. Who is the poor kid here? About whom did he tell? About Joe. Joe was the poor kid. Why? Because today she was not happy. Today she was not satisfied with the story. And with utter weariness watched his wife labor. And he saw that his wife was doing labor. Although she was pregnant, she was not supposed to do hard work, but still she was doing. Jack had come downstairs to help her, but he was only watching her. Why? Because he was completely tired. He was feeling completely tired. So in his utter weariness, in his complete tiredness, only he was watching his wife labor hard. The woodwork, a case of moldings and rails and baseboards all around them, was half old tan and half new ivory, and he felt caught in an ugly middle position. And though he as well felt his wife's presence in the cage with him, he did not want to speak with her, walk with her, touch her, anything. He found himself amidst around the furniture, the rails, the baseboards. What are baseboards? Wooden, narrow boards, rails, railings, moldings. What are moldings? Pieces of decorative wood, strips of decorative wood, which are used to decorate furniture, house. So he found himself amidst all these things, surrounded by all these things. He felt as if he was inside the cage of these things. Not only he felt about himself, he felt that his wife was also in this cage. Dear children, these things are symbolic. Some pieces of furniture were already painted and they were looking new, like ivory. Some pieces of furniture were not yet painted and they were looking brown, old. So, here the pieces of furniture which were already painted, which were looking new, symbolize the new ideas, new views, the views of Joe. And the pieces of furniture which were yet not painted, which were looking old, symbolize the old ideas, traditional views, views of Jack, which he had adopted from his own mother. So Jack found himself trapped, caught between old traditional ideas and new ideas. He was in dilemma that if he should stick to his own traditional views or he should adopt his daughter's new ideas. His old ideas were that a child should follow his parents blindly. A child should be very obedient. A child should understand that his parents only think for his welfare, for his goodness. But the new ideas were that a child should not follow his parents blindly. If a child wants to think in his own way, he should be allowed. If a child wants to improve his condition, he must be allowed. Parents should not impose their own ideas, their own views on their children. So children, that's all. Thanks.